Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say shalom to you Achman Akwat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. Alright, this one's titled, The Scattering of Israel and Other Curses Put Upon the Israelites. So thank you for that. So again, this lesson is titled, The Scattering of Israel and Other Curses Put Upon Israelites. Okay, so of course, we're going to be, dealing a lot with, Deuteronomy 28 and, all the curses down through there. All right, mostly about the scattering of Israel. Okay, but we're also going to touch on some other curses as they come up through, that chapter. All right, now I don't know if this is going to be a two-part lesson. Okay, because it is right before new moon comes in. All right, so we'll see. All right, I don't know if I have anything else planned. I have ideas of things that I could do, but not necessarily anything set in stone. All right, I'd like to get around to that lesson of showing some of my setup, for the brothers. Talking about I know I've done lessons before on it. Okay, fuck you. Those drive me crazy. I know I've done not lessons, but a lesson. All right, a video, not so much as a lesson, but a video about some of the equipment that I use. But I have got a new piece of equipment. All right, so I guess it's around time to update that. All right, of course, you got a lot of people waking up. All right, most notably, for the brothers, because of course the women aren't going to be making lessons. But brothers waking up, all right, and they might not have ever made YouTube videos before, or any type of video like that, so they might not know. So I'll show you some of the software that I use. All right, Lord willing, I get to that tonight, and new moon comes down here about 7:50. What is it? 7:57. All right, so here soon. All right, new moon rolls in. All right, so the new Sabbath will be Monday evening, all right, or Monday night, all right, Monday sundown, all right, to Tuesday sundown, right? So let's go ahead and get it. Again, a little bit of an introduction, all right, some things that I have planned, but this lesson, again, the scattering of Israel and other curses put upon the Israelites. And as you can see here, I just found a picture of an old map, and I just put it up on the screen because, hey, Israelites all through here, man. All right, Canada, you got Israelites. All right, United States, Israelites. All right, Mexico, you got Israelites. All of South America. All right, you got Israelites. All right, Greenland. All right, a whole bunch of Israelites over in even in Africa, down in Africa and in Europe. Okay, So in Australia, all these places, man, they got Israelites. Now the bulk of Israel is in the United States. Okay. That's where we were brought on ships, but there are still Israelites all over, all right, over in England, all right, right here, you can barely see it on the map, but over in England, all right, Ireland, all right, even in Norway, Sweden, and Finland, all right, this whole chunk right here, all right, that's packed full of Israelites, man, okay, especially with Ireland, okay, so let's go ahead and head over to Deuteronomy 28. All right, now this is where it's speaking of the curses, and we're gonna, read through it. We might go even all the way to the bottom, and more than likely, this will end up being a two-part lesson. All right, for the simple fact that this is 68 scriptures that we got to read right here. So, and then we got more to come, right? So let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28. All right, starting with verse 1, of course. Now, these are the curses. Well, first it's talking about the blessings that we could have received. All right, and actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and skip down, okay, because we're just going to start at 15. Now, if you want to go and read, all right, verses 14 on up, all right, you can go ahead and read it. Now, it's just speaking of the things that, I will read verse 1, all right, first. It says, And And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Okay, we're just going to continue to read it, right? In verse 2 it says, and all these blessings shall come on thee, and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. Okay, so if we listen to the Lord, all right, these are the things that would happen to us. Okay, and it's, obviously we didn't, all right, we didn't pay attention to the commandments, all right, we didn't observe to do what he said, right? So, but this is what could have happened, right? It says, blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, and increased in thine kind, and in the flocks of thy sheep. So we'd have plenteous harvests, right? It said, blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. So on top of having, a wonderful harvest, all right, we'd also have, our stores would do well, and our basket, our, money, we'd be doing well with money. It says, blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. And the Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. So enemies are going to rise up against us, but guess what? We're going to slay them. They're not going to have any chance against us, right? It says, they shall come out against thee one way, and flee before thee 7 ways. It says, the Lord shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thy hand into. So you got a business, it's going to prosper, all right? Whatever you put your hand into, it's going to prosper, right? It's going to go great. And he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy power given thee. It says, the Lord shall establish thee an holy people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, and if thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy power, and walk in his ways. And all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. Oh, those are the Lord's children, all right? We shouldn't mess with them, all right? The Lord's really standing back in them, all right? I saw, that one guy, Jeremy. I saw him go over there and mess with one of those Israelites, and I saw him burst into flames. The Lord set him on fire, So, hey, they'd be afraid, right? Verse 11, it says, and the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods. We'd be rich, right? And the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy castle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers to give thee. All right, we'd still be dwelling in our land, because it says in the land which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, Israel. Obviously, we're not in Israel right now, so we must be on. This must have not been what happened, right? So it says, the Lord shall open unto thee his, and the Amalekites, all right, the small hats that are over there now, all right, the imposters that are over there now, oh, this is, we're in our promised land. Well, we read throughout the Bible, and none of these things happened, all right? None of these things happened, because it tells you about, if you look at, like, for example, we'll read it, but you can tell that what happened was not, verses 1 through 15, all right, or 14, okay? Everything through 16 on down, or 15 on down, happened, okay, or is going to happen, right? So the Israelites were cursed, because it mentions it references, the scattering of Israel, all right? And one of the curses is that we would be scattered, okay? And slave ships, the small hats never came on slave ships, so they can't be the people, all right? So in verse 12 it says, the Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure in heaven, to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. We'd be rich, right here. You can have this, all right? You can take this and, pay me back, in a week, all right? You can, you're fine. I'm not hurting, all right? Pay me back in a week, all right? Please. Can I borrow $5? Man, come on, please give me $5, man. All I need is a pack of smokes. Give me $5, please. That's us now, right? Because the curses came unto us. All right. Here you are. You're asking Chang, all right, down the street for $6. I'll pay you back next week, Chang. Come on, man. I'm good for it. 13. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, if thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. If that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy power, which I command thee this day, and observe to do them. So it says, and thou shalt not go aside after from any of the words which I command thee unto this day. Slakia. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, or but to go after other gods to serve them. All right, but Israel, what did Israel do? All right, Israel kept going off and they kept on worshiping false gods, and it's all throughout the Bible, right? It's all throughout the Bible, all right? But we weren't keeping the commandments, we were breaking the laws, we were angering the Lord, right? So what actually ended up happening to us was 15, and look, these are all, it's more stuff bad than, we have, good, everything would have been great. Now, these are all the bad things that are going to come upon you, right? So let's read them, because this is actually what ended up happening to us, okay? Verse 15, it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Let me grab a drink. Check this out. 16. All right, these are going to sound awfully familiar. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Jake going to make a store, and it's going to fail. All right, some Jake might be, they might have a store. All right, you might be able to sell a little bit of something, but it's not going to be like, these other nations. All right, you're not going to be making Walmarts and Targets. Look, founder of Walmart. We already know it's Sam Walton, right? So, Sam Walton. All right, what is he? Not an Israelite. Okay. What about who founded Target? George Dayton. Huh. Who founded Kmart? Kmart's closed now, but there you go. That was just bad business choices on Esau's part. Who founded Albertsons? Who founded Kroger? Who founded, hell, I don't know, Circle K? Gas. Okay. Who founded 7-Eleven? See all these big multi-billionaire corporations? Let's think of something small, I can't think of anything, but look, it's all, but Jake, it's easy for Esau to get up there, right? But Jake, not so much, all right? We might have small stores, we might own a little small business, or we might own even a medium doing okay business. But it's never going to be the level of, Esau, in there. We're going to have to, we're going to struggle with certain things, all right? You might have a big theft problem, all right? You might have, it's not going to go all well and good, all right, if you're a Jake, all right? You might make enough to, get by, all right? But you're not going to prosper like Esau with an abundance of money. Be like, look at how wonderful I'm doing with my business. It ain't like that for Jake, okay? It says, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. So thy basket, you're not going to have much money, and your store as well. So it says, cursed shall thou be in the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, and the increase in thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. You're not going to be doing so well with your harvest, right? Or your body. It says, cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do until thou be destroyed. Everything you put your hand into is not going to go so well. Okay? You could be on a team of excellent millionaires. They bring on one Jake, and we don't know why the plan didn't take off. It's just, I don't know. Strange. It was better when we worked with Bill. Get Jamal out of here. Fuck you, Jamal. It says, and until thou perish quickly because of thy wickedness and of thy doings whereby thou hast forsaken me. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land thou goest to possess it. And you got to realize there's diseases that really only hit Jake. All right, Jake has all this. Let's continue to 22. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with the blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. All right, now if you look up consumption, all right, disease, a wasting disease, especially pulmonary tuberculosis. All right, let's look up with inflammation. Jake got all sorts of inflammation, gout, right? Leg stuff, diabetes and all this other crazy stuff. With the sword and with the blasting. Let's look at blasting disease. All right. Let's see. In order to get this, we're going to have to go to the blue letter and get it originally from what the Hebrew. Let's see what blasting means.
Strong's H 7711. Shedefa. Shedefa.
Alright.
Second entry. Shidafon. Shidafon.
Basically blight. Alright? Blight. But not of crops, right?
Blight.
A thing that spoils or damages something. Alright? So the blasting with a blight, alright? So something that damages us, or, disease, all sorts of diseases, right? And with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. It says, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust, and from heaven it shall come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. It says, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into all kingdoms of the earth. And the Esau's took a hold of us, right? They've brought us down and destroyed us, all right? And have messed us up pretty bad, right? They're ruling over us right now, right? And thy carcass shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. The Lord will smite thee with the botch from Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch whereof thou canst not be healed. And the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of the heart, or of the heart. In verse 29 it says, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Check this out. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. All right, so you're gonna get a wife, and another guy's gonna sleep with her. All right. Now, of course, this isn't, this is not everybody. Some people might have a wife, and the guy might not do that. But you're under some of these curses. Maybe not that one, but some of these other ones are gonna hit you. It says, thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. There you go, Jake. All right, guess what? That's all Jake. All right, the Issacharites. All right, the Judites. All right, all Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom. All right, you got the so-called our so-called black brothers and so-called Mexican brothers out there working day and night building these houses, and they never live in a house that nice. Okay, it says, thou shalt plant a vineyard and shall not gather the grapes thereof. That's Jake. It says, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Check this out. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and then I shall look and fail with longing for them all day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. All right, and another. And that happened with slavery as well. They'd take, separate the father from the sons, and the father from the mother, and the wife and husband, split them all up, and a sister over here, a brother over there, a husband over there, as separate the families and split them up. It says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt only be oppressed and crushed alway. Which and that's what we are. It says, so that thou shalt be mad in the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed from the sole, of thy foot to the top of thy head. And the Lord shall bring thee and thy king that thou hast set over thee unto a nation. Listen here, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. That land, speaking of Babylon the Great. All right, and other places you may have been scattered, but primarily Babylon the Great. In verse 37 it says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. And a byword, all right, the N-word, I don't know if you know this, all right, that is a byword, all right, we become a byword, all right, a byword, all right, and they're not gonna give us the real definition of here, but that's what a byword. All right, let's get a blue letter. All right, let's look up byword. All right, well, let's look up a proverb. What's a proverb? It says byword. Byword comes up. Let's see what it necessarily means in Deuteronomy. Byword. So byword. Okay, what is a byword?
Strong's H8148. Shenina.
Alright.
Shenina.
Shenina. What does it say? A sharp word. Sharp cutting word. Taunt. Gib. Okay, a byword, a taunt. Alright, and that word, alright, or word, primarily the N word. Alright, you got other words like spick, beaner, alright, right? Wetback, alright. Tonto, alright, for the Native Americans, right? Redskin, alright, all sorts of the shit that they call our people, alright? Jigaboos, alright? These are proverbs, coons, right? Those are sharp words. Taunts, gibs, bywords, alright? And is that not what we get called over here? It is. It's exactly what we get called over here. Thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. And that's what these most notably Edomites, all right. The other nations do it too, all right. The Chinese, all right. The Moabites, all right. They love calling us all these different names, all right. But that's what they know of. That's what they call us over here, all right. That's what we are called. All right, spicks, jigaboos, coons, all these different wetbacks, all right, beaners, all right. These are the names we get called. Okay, it says, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shall gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. Okay, it says, thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shalt neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat them. And we're still doing this today, all right. And we were doing it in the slavery that was known about, all right. The slavery that was actually the transatlantic slave trade, but that slavery, we're still in slavery. All right, it's just a slavery in a different flavor. All right, but back when we were in slavery, all right. If I say back when we were in slavery, we're still in slavery, but the slavery that the world admits that we are in, at least, because they'll be like, no, you're free now. We're not free. Okay, we'll be free when Yahushua comes back and delivers us. Then we'll be free. We're not free right now. All right, you got to wake up and go to work when you don't fucking want to. That's not free. All right, got to bust your ass off, to be able to buy groceries that are too damn expensive. That's not free. All right, got to work your ass off, buy a couple pieces of clothing, and then you're broke. That's not free. That's not free at all. Okay, everything, that's slavery, man. And they make everything expensive, so you gotta work your whole day just to get those items, and they get all the money and you don't. All right, that's not free. That is not free. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coast, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine oil shall cast his fruit. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Okay, there's another thing. All right, we shall beget sons and daughters, but we shall not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. So that's another thing that happened, all right? Back when we were in slavery, the one that they admit to, or the transatlantic slave trade, that's exactly what happened. We mentioned that earlier. They'd be like, all right, take this big, this buck here. All right, take this breeding jigaboo and take him over there and put him on the block. And what about his son, sir? Split him up. All right, the son, sell him. He's a product of that man. All right, these are big slaves. Okay, sell him for $250 or whatever. All right, split them up. All right, don't keep them together. All right, and so you're not gonna enjoy them because they're gonna And the other thing is, even now we can't enjoy our children. I don't have any kids personally, but those people that do, you can't really enjoy them because you're working all goddamn day. You can't enjoy your sons, you can't enjoy your daughters, you can't enjoy your wife. You can't enjoy even your wife. Why? Because you barely get to see her because you're working all day. All right, you come home, get a little bit of time with her, and then you gotta wake up, go and do the job again. All right, we can't enjoy shit here. All right, you watching the game? Ain't that enjoy? Yeah, for what? An hour? You got a couple hours of free time, and then you got to go to bed and do it all again the next day. All right. In 42 it says, all thy trees of the fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. It says, the stranger that is with thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. It says, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him, and he shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. All right, you got to go borrow money from Esau. Right, you got to get payday loans. All right, a cash advance. All right, you gotta get credit cards, all these different things like that. All right, and you gotta borrow from him. All right, and then you have struggles paying him back. Right, that's how it is. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of thy Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded. Again, why are all these things happening to us? Because we weren't paying attention to what the Lord said. He said, do this, and we did something else. He said, jump, and we sat down. He said, sit, and we stood up. Right? He said, breathe in, we blew out. Right? Everything that he did, everything he told us to do, we did the exact opposite of. Right? And that's why we're under these curses. That's why we're being called these names. That's why we can't enjoy our children. That's why our basket's cursed. That's why we don't make enough money. That's like why we're not prospering. Right? In verse 46, it says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. And they shall be upon thee for a sign. And that's another thing. They're upon us for a sign. But guess what? When you look around the people and you say, who do these curses match up to? They're not matching up to the Chinese people. They're not matching up to the Japanese people. They're not matching up to the Indian, right? The Elamite people, right? The oobity bop bop. Those ones, not the Native Americans, right? Though they don't match up to them, all right? They're not matching up to the Edomites, all right? Because they're sure fuck not matching up to the Edomites, because the Edomites are, ruling over. They rule everything. They're controlling. They got, all these big corporations, Facebook and Twitter and all these different fucking things, all right? That surely can't be them. It can't be the Amalekites, all the Goldsteins and Rothbergs and Rothschilds and this, that, and the Golds and Steins and Steens and all these things. It can't be them. Why? Because they're controlling all the news medias. They're controlling, like, at the head of every corporation is a Steen or a Stein or a Goldberg, all right, or a Rothschild or a Vanderbilt, all right, at all the top of these things. The elites, they're ruling over everything. It sure the fuck can't be them, all right. So who can it be? It must be the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? The blacks, the Mexicans, and the natives, right? It must be them. Okay, because our people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We say so-called because we're not black, we're not Native American, we're not Latino. What are we? We're Israelites. All right, we're Israelites. All right, Judah, Levi, Benjamin, right? Issachar, Ephraim, all right, Manasseh, all right, Gad. All right, that's who we are. Of course, I'm not going to name them all, but that's who we are. All right, but we're known as blacks, Mexicans, all right, natives. That's what we're known as, right? Native Americans. We're not native to America. All right, we were here before the Esau, but we're not native. And I'm saying we, but I'm part. They say part. But through my dad's line, through my father's side, but we don't even know. There's Mexican and Native American, and but I believe we go back to Judah. All right, but all through that. So we the natives, all right, it's because who knows, I could be, I'm in a situation where I could be Gad or Gad, Issachar, or Judah, but I believe we just go back to Judah. All right, so these they were the natives. All right, the Gadites were here before the Edomites, but the Gadites weren't native to Babylon, to North America. They're native. We are all natives of where? Israel. That's where we're native to. All right. Well, not basically. The native from there, because we're the Israelites. All right. If you're Israelites, where must you be from? Israel. Okay. We're not North Americanites. Okay. We don't call ourselves Americans. Right. We're Israelites. So that's a sign. All right. Because it's not happening to any of these other nations. These things are happening to us. Okay. And there's even more. And you might say, well, I don't know yet. I don't know. Well, let's continue to read more, because there's going to be some here that are undeniable. Okay, so let's continue on. Verse 47, because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee. In hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So guess what? We were just talking about it. There's, in case you don't believe it yet, there's some things that are undeniably, speaking of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? Let's look up, what is a yoke? Oh, shit, look at this. What is a yoke? A yoke is a wooden beam. Let's go over here. A yoke is a wooden beam sometimes used between a pair of oxen or other animals to enable them to pull together a load when working in pairs. Okay? So you can see yoke. There you go. It's a yoke. It blocks their head in. Now, let's look up a yoke. What is a yoke? So, here you go. It's an ox yoke. Alright, and it's it holds them together. Right? Now, let's just look up metal yoke. That won't work. Iron yoke. Oh, would you look at that? It's even more so than that. That's a chain. That's a type of yoke. But, yoke on person. And that's not a yoke. As they say it is. Let's just look up yoke of iron. Well, that's interesting. As soon as you type in yoke of iron, look what comes up. These are the images that they try to hide. Alright? Look at that. I have an image that I saved. What is this from? Oh. Iron yoke collar. From what? Massachusetts Historical Society, right? What is this from? This iron yoke collar was cut from the neck of a young enslaved woman in New Orleans who had run away from her enslaver. I've never seen a so-called Jew today wearing one of these, and I've never heard of those being put on them. They didn't even have those when, the thing, their so-called thing happened. They didn't have those on them. What is this? Wooden yoke with iron hook. What else do we got? What else do we got? What about that? Number 536. Iron collar for preventing the escape of slaves. Interesting. Wonder why we're only finding images of that. Alright. Slave metal collar. Weird freaky shit coming up. No, that's not what we're looking for. There we go. Punishment collar. That's a yoke. That is a yoke. Okay, punishment collar. There you go. It says, check this out. Israelites, not fucking Africans, alright, not Hamites. Israelites resisted enslavement from the point of capture. When enslaved people tried to run away after being captured from the slave traders, from the Edomites, this heavy iron collar was placed on them to inflict punishment. It stopped them from running away again, as the spiked end prevents the wearer from moving to any areas with trees or bushes. Punishment collars such as these clearly marked out a person as having transgressed in some way and were often used to punish other crimes such as theft. 4 spikes sticking out would have made it impossible for a person wearing it to lie down or lean up against any surface. Other punishment devices included muzzles or iron masks used to restrict enslaved person's ability to talk and eat. Let's view the image. There you go. That is a yoke of iron. When has that been put on an Edomite? When has that been put on a Moabite? All right, when? Let's see if they mention anything. I bet it's going to be down at the bottom. I bet someone's mentioned something. I bet all the deleted posts are that was talking about that. I bet one of these at least mentioned it, Deuteronomy. If not, because people know out there. Interesting. I have a photo somewhere. Let me see. Here we go. Look at that. Log yokes to prevent slaves from escaping. A little bit interesting, don't you think? A little bit interesting. Those ain't been put on anybody else. So going back, let's read it again. Verse 48, Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he, who? Your enemy. Alright, serve thine enemies. And he, who's our enemy? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land, until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he hath destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest, throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy power hath given thee. Bear with me while I grab a drink. It says, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, and flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy power hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness wherein thine enemies shall distress thee. It says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. So the man's going to leave his children. Who's doing that the most? Who's doing it? Everybody knows, oh, the black man always leaves. Oh, the black man don't want to be a father. Oh, the black man this, the black man that. There's another one. It doesn't happen so as frequent with all the other nations. Let's continue on. If you still don't believe, so that he shall not give any of them, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children. Slakia. It says, whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. Here's another one. What about our women? What about the so-called black woman? What about the Israelite woman in general, right? Even the Latinas and the Native American. What so-called, right? The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be either evil toward the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter, and towards her young one that cometh out between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear. For she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. She can be evil towards her children. It says, and if thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayst fear the glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy power, right? It says, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and with sore sicknesses, and of long continuance. Because Jake getting messed up with all these things, right? It says, moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee, and thou shalt be until thou be destroyed. And ye shall be left few in number, whereas ye were as the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldst not obey the voice of the Lord thy power. Okay? It says, and it shall come to pass that the Lord, as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to nothingness, right? And ye shall be plucked from off the land where thou goest to possess it, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. You're going to be busting your ass, man. It says, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and a failing of eyes and a sorrow of mind. All right, Jake's struggling with depression too. It says, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall not have none assurance of thy life. And the morning thou shalt say, would Yahweh it were even. And at evening thou shalt say, would Yahweh it were morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And if all of this you didn't care, you didn't listen, here's 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Let me start over. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it again no more. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. It says, hey, wait a minute. It says no man shall buy you. Buy as in redeem. All right, you're not going to be redeemed. Okay, not as far as, you know, physically bought and physically sold. Let's see if we can get it. All right, and well, that says Egypt. We're not in Egypt. Well, let's look up a word here. Spiritual. Let's look up spiritual Egypt. Okay, this is Revelation 11 and 8. Right, and this is speaking of Babylon. All right, Revelation 11 and 8. And their dead bodies, this is Jake, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. All right, this is, you know, we're not going to get into this right now. All right, but Jake, right? And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. All right, let's look up the great city in the Bible. It's not speaking of Jerusalem, okay? Oh, let's get Revelation 16:19. Let's see what that says. Revelation 16 and 19. Let's read from 18. All right, Revelation 16 and 18. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since men were upon the earth. So mighty an earthquake and so great. Okay, and I believe that's speaking of the nuclear missiles, right? The nukes going off. Boom. In verse 19 it says, and the city And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before Yahweh to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Okay? And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. Okay, so there you go. Speaking of mentioning Babylon and the great city, right? Let's see. The great city. Oh, look at this. What's the great city of Revelation 16? The great city in this passage refers to mystical Babylon. Babylon. So the great city, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, Babylon, right? Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Why is it spiritually called Sodom and Egypt? Because the same things going on in Sodom and Egypt are happening now. All right, we are in captivity in Egypt, and guess what? We're in captivity now. All right, there's a rampant wickedness and homosexuality going on in Sodom and Gomorrah, and guess what? There's rampant amount of wickedness and homosexuality in the modern modern Sodom, right? Modern Egypt, all right? Babylon, all right? Just like this, there was old Babylon, but now we're in new Babylon, new Egypt, new Sodom, right? That's where we're in, okay? It's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. And I remember some dumbass came on my comment board one time, there's no such thing as spiritual Egypt. Well, what about this scripture right here that says which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt? That's spiritual Egypt, you dumb motherfucker, all right? That shows you people don't understand, and people don't want to understand, because once they do understand, they understand, oh shit, everything would start to click, and they'd be like, oh no, this is so bad, this is not good, oh no. All right, nah, they don't want to know. All right, they spiritually don't know, but they also don't want to know. All right, the Most High won't allow them to know. All right, and if some of them do know little things, they'll deny it. All right, they'll deny it. Okay, so soon people like Vocab Malone are gonna be shitting their pants. All right, so yes, but we just proved spiritual Sodom, spiritual Egypt. Going back, verse 68 in Deuteronomy 28 says, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships." All right, and how did we come to Babylon? All right, we were brought on slave ships, transatlantic slave trade, right? This doesn't add up to any other nation, man. This doesn't add up to any other nation. This doesn't add up for Chinese people. This doesn't add up for Japanese people. This doesn't add up for the so-called Jews today, as they're known, all right, which are really the Amalekites. This doesn't add up for the Europeans, all right, the Edomites, right? This doesn't add up for the Middle Easterners, right? The Ishmaelites, all right, your Pakistanis and all. It doesn't add up for them. All these things only add up to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right? You can't try to fake it or say this or that. It just doesn't add up, man. It only fits us. It only fits us. It only fits us. That's it. You weren't bought and sold on ships. You weren't having yokes of iron put upon your neck. All right? None of these, all these things, multiple of these things add up for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They don't add up for you. They don't add up for you, Esau. They don't add up for you, Ammon. They don't add up for you, Moab. They don't add up for you, Amalek, you small hats. All right, they don't add up for you people. All right, they add up for us, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Who was brought here on ships? Us. Who had yokes of irons put upon our necks? Us. Who were separated from our children? Us. Who has a track record of leaving their families? Us. Whose women are the wickedest towards their husband? Us. Who's continuing on, with their children? Us. Our people. All right, this is speaking of us, okay? And it was put upon us, like it says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. They're going to be upon us forever until we get delivered. What says that no man no man will buy you? Yeah, deliver us, redeem us. All right, except for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, so when Yahushai comes back, then and we're brought out of this place, then those curses will be brought upon us. Buy us out of this, the state that we're in. Not as in physically buy and sell. All right, let's see if it'll get it, and it might go off. Let's see if the Blue Letter Bible gets it or if it goes off. Let's see. All right, and like the apostles say, the Spirit, the truth ain't going to come out of the Blue Letter Bible. You have to have the Spirit on you. Okay, so let's go all the way down. All right, what does it say? Where was it? No man shall buy you. Buy. All right, what's it say? Buy. Here it is. Of Yahweh originating, creating, redeeming his people. All right, redeemed. In this case, it's speaking of redeemed. Okay? And no man shall redeem. What does it mean to redeem?
Redeem.
All right, redeem. Rescue.
Rescue.
And I don't have to get the definition of rescue. You should know what it means. All right, now we should go down, and now it might go off. Let's see if it actually gives us that correct definition in Deuteronomy. All right. No, that's not what it's speaking of. Alright, it doesn't give us any example of when it's talking about being redeemed. Alright, but it says right here, redeem. Alright, redeem. Alright, now I wonder what exactly, now this is that word. Let's look it up. To acquire. I'm curious. I want to see something. I just want to see something. Bear with me. It's not what I wanted. Let's see. There we go. Let's see. I won't give it to it, but we got it. You know, we got the word. It said redeemed. Alright, take it what you will. If you don't believe it, that's okay. If you believe it, hey, wonderful. If you don't, hey, fine. Do what you do. But that's what it means. Buy us as in redeem you, and no man shall redeem you. No man shall save you, right? We were bought and sold, alright? Because it just said that we were, there was how did it say? But it just said, we would be, in slavery and in captivity, right? And we'd be split up, right? So buying doesn't mean physically buying, all right? This buying in this case means redeem, all right? And no man shall redeem you, all right? So we shouldn't be redeemed, not until Yahushua comes back, okay? So we got that. Now who fits this? And we might have to, we're probably gonna cut it here, all right, and then get into these other. Part 2, because that's a good stopping point. Okay, now everything else can be backup. The second part of the lesson can be backup. So that's really all I have for that. We're gonna get more in it. We got lots more to go. All right, we got lots more to go. And we'll probably do it when new moon comes in. All right, we got something to do. All right, if not, then if I have something else planned for tonight, then we'll get to the second part tomorrow. All right, but this is a good, solo by itself portion. All right, reading the whole chapter of Deuteronomy, a breakdown of Deuteronomy 28. All right, so and there's multiple things in there. All right, being no man shall redeem us. We're gonna be sold unto our enemies. We're gonna come again on ships. All right, now an image. We can show a couple images. All right, we got time. Let's show a couple images. Here we go. There's that one for you. Alright. We shall come again on ships, right? Well, that's exactly what we did. Okay? That's exactly what we did. And these devils don't want you to know that. Alright? But that's how it went. Okay? That's how it went. I don't think I have any other pictures that are relevant to what we're talking about, but hey, that's what happened, man. All right, all these things, all right, came unto us. Why? Because we were not listening to what the Lord told us. We were not following after the commandments that He told us to keep. Okay, so hey, we're gonna cut it off there. Lord willing, it was edifying. All right, and of course, when Lord willing, we'll come back with part 2. All right, but for now, we're gonna close off there. All right. First and foremost, all right, or first and foremost at the end of this lesson, all right, I want to give all praise once again. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. I want to say shalom, dear brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. All right, Lord willing, it'll be a part 2. All right, either tonight or tomorrow at some point in time. All right, until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.